Feel free to swear if you want. Otherwise, just be you, Jenny.
I swear rarely in real life, so
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Well, actually, let's talk about that, because do you swear not so much in real life because it may then come out on camera, or are you just not a swearer?
I really was never a swearer.
Yeah.
I grew up, my family was kind of strict. I'd say
Yeah.
we were the Minnesota family where at dinner we all sat there and said, how was your day?
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
And swearing was just like, shut up was a swear word in my
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So I just never really got in a habit. But the funny story is they filmed me playing hockey once for a Fox feature. And
Okay.
I was like dropping F-bombs
Really?
all over on the ice. They're like, did you know you were swearing? I'm like, no. They're like, no, you were. We had to like edit that out.
That's
so I
funny.
guess when I'm playing
Yeah.
competitively, I get more intense.
What time was family dinner in the Taft household?
It was pretty consistent, 6:37.
It was? Yeah.
Yeah, but it was always, before or after practices, and it was just my brother and I, so we were always like close. And family dinner, I didn't realize how nice it was to have that, but it was kind of a big thing for us.
Now, your brother just finished playing professionally.
Yeah.
Who did he play
He
for?
played in college at Colorado College. Then
Okay.
he played for 2 years in Germany
Okay.
in one of their lower leagues and loved it. But you're not making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Cool experience, but he just moved here and he's on my couch. So
Yeah. Okay. Well,
trying to help him out.
I think it's funny. I played, let's bring it back to me. I played low-level tennis, but the difference between low-level tennis, you don't make any money in any low level, but I'm not getting like physically punched.
True.
I feel like these football guys that go to Italy or Germany and play in hockey, like not only are you not getting paid, but someone could knock your teeth out that night.
Yeah, I'm so surprised he has all of his teeth.
Does he have all his teeth?
And he has like a big smile like me.
Yeah.
Like luckily,
Yeah.
if you lost one of these, it's hard to miss.
Now,
But
what's
he has teeth.
what's your hockey background?
So I grew up in Minnesota, and
That's all you really have to say. Hockey background. There you go.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
it's so. I say I grew up playing hockey, and they're like, "Oh, field hockey." I'm like, "No, actually, ice hockey."
Real hockey.
Real hockey.
motherfuckers, yeah.
I actually had a chance to play this last winter with Wayne Gretzky.
I
in
think
the
you
league.
told me about this,
it was
right?
insane. It was like the best day of my life.
Yeah.
We took a picture.
Sure.
I was the only girl, so obviously
Yeah.
I stood out. I scored a couple goals.
Did you
too.
score?
It wasn't
So
that bad.
So what was did you play in college then?
I didn't play in college.
Okay.
I was going to play either ice hockey or lacrosse in college, and for whatever reason, I really wanted to play lacrosse. It was different. I grew up, hockey was my whole life.
Right.
My dad played, my brother. It was like, let me try something different, and Boston U is where I went to college.
Got it.
I walked on there.
Great.
So it was great. I loved it. Great
Yeah.
4 years, but I probably should have played hockey. It was better.
Were you doing broadcasting TV when you were in college?
Yeah, that was the goal. BU
Okay.
had a really good journalism program, so
Okay.
I always wanted to be a sports reporter, and lacrosse was a goal as well, and I was able to kind of do both, which was really special.
Lacrosse is pretty badass.
It was okay. I mean, there were times where I had bruises,
Yeah.
and I had a teacher pull me aside. I was like, "Are you
BU?
truly at BU?" It was
Yeah.
like uncomfortable, but lacrosse, you don't wear any pads
Yeah.
when you're a women lacrosse player, but you do really use you have to use
And
your
you get
stick.
smacked.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was a forward, so
Yeah.
defenders really get in, and I had bruises.
Somebody thought.
So it was, a
You're
great
like
conversation.
no. You're like no, professor. I kicked the shit out of him.
I'm actually fine.
I've always liked hockey, lacrosse, soccer players that are females, and let me tell you why. And hold on before you start calling me a sexist. They just there's such a physical toughness component to those sports. Soccer maybe not as much, but those girls are always really tough, and it just makes a well-rounded person. Like tennis players, who my favorite sport. They just get to be too spoiled and too pretentious. There's something about getting hit that makes everybody just kind of chill out a little bit. Like their ego can't get too high. Am I right, would you say, with this or no?
No, I mean, I think there's something too with an individual sport versus team sport. It's still a different mentality.
Maybe that's it.
I played
It's not
tennis
that you get hit.
in high school, just all the way up to high school.
Yeah.
But I never was able to get past that individual. I liked the team thing. I went to the French Open. Did I tell you that?
I think I saw that on your Instagram, which is what? What's your Instagram? While we're talking
Jenny Taft.
Jenny Taft.
All one
Yeah,
word.
tell us about that. What was that all about?
It was just a friend of mine she had worked for BN Sports in the past, and she had a lot of tennis connections, and she said, I've got tickets to the French Open. are you free on a weekend? Haha, you're definitely not. And I was wide open.
Don't fucking challenge Jenny. You
Yeah.
travel so much. You're
I
like,
was
so
like,
what?
sure,
Yeah.
let's go. And I speak French. I went to a French
You
school
speak
growing up.
French?
Oui, oui, petit peu.
Oh, our only French speaker, I think.
So I thought, well, I can't not go.
Yeah.
And it was such a
Right.
cool experience. I'd never seen any kind of tennis like that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty special.
I think it's the best slam to watch just because the points are so long.
Yeah.
There's like this weird, the surface makes it weird. They
Loved
have
it.
to like slide and they
Yeah.
can't just stop and start. Yeah. So, I mean, we're seeing right now, if you want to talk sports briefly, we're seeing right now with hardcourt tennis, which is the American surface, everyone's injured. Like,
it's so much harder on you, right?
It's so much harder, and men, women, they're all pulling out, trying to make sure that they're healthy for the U.S. Open, but it's just like it's not a great surface. I think we have the wrong surface.
What's your favorite?
I was best on hard courts, but I
okay.
loved clay, but I just would lose on clay all
Is
the
it
time.
just because you had more experience?
Yeah, and
on
I was
hard?
my game was suited to attacking.
Okay.
And a faster court like a hard court can
Okay.
that could be a benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I love about tennis is the surface changes. In hockey, it changes, but it's like it just slows down as the period goes on. Is that right?
I mean, like the ice in different temperatures, different
Yeah.
climates. It's, the ice affects the game, but it's not like
Your strategy is kind of the
it's not
same.
changing.
Yeah. When is your birthday?
September 5th.
September 5th.
I have a big one coming up.
You do? Which one is it coming up? Can you
3-0.
tell us?
Yeah, I
3-0?
don't care.
Okay.
30. So I was thinking we should redo this interview after that because
Yeah,
I feel like
maybe
that
the
could
worst.
be a big one. Everyone's like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I'm not a birthday person.
Okay.
Like, I could care less. I'm really not.
I don't believe that.
I really don't care.
Okay.
Because I don't like putting a lot of pressure on something
Right.
to be something special.
Yeah.
And that's,
I mean, what we've learned
Yeah.
through over 100 episodes of this award-winning podcast, never won an award, is
This one will.
This one will. Jenny Taft's episode will. Is the higher the expectations, usually the worse the birthday. Not always, but sometimes just unexpected things happen.
True.
And I'm excited to hear what your worst birthday is. But first, what's a September 5th growing up in Minnesota? That's a good time.
Well, it's a kicker because it's
yeah.
the first day of school a lot of times.
Oh, shit. That's not
so
good.
Labor Day, first day of
Yes.
school. I
Yes.
had a lot of really bad
Yeah.
you're kind of excited for the first day, but then it's like your birthday and you don't want to tell your new friends like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
it's my birthday.
birthday,
Yay.
yeah.
And, you're getting like school supplies from your parents. Like,
Oh, I hated that.
it was, what are you going to do?
I remember I always, for weeks before school started, I would plan my first day outfit.
Always.
But then I never ever thought about any other days after that.
I was like a 2-week planner. Like I was laying out.
You were.
I love.
I'm
if
not
I wasn't in
surprised.
sports, like fashion, I love that stuff. I've
Yeah,
always liked it.
yeah.
I was like laying it out,
Yeah.
visualizing.
Do you determine what you wear on camera now?
Yeah, it's
Does
kind
Fox
of 50-50.
Sports 1 help you?
Yeah, I have a wardrobe budget, which is really nice, and
Hell
the
yeah.
wardrobe people are there. I know you know them. Like they're great.
Yeah.
Like it was so
Yeah.
nice. It's nice to have someone helping you out, especially I cover a lot of different sports and a lot of different climates. So like
You're right.
a few extra jackets here and there.
I mean, soccer versus motocross.
Yeah.
Those are much different outfit choices, aren't they? Or
Yes, very different. I mean, I throw away the boots I wear during motocross at the end of the year. Like I just leave
Yeah,
them in the
yeah,
hotel.
yeah,
They've
yeah.
had their time. But it's a lot of like leather jackets for moto. You got to play the
Good.
part.
Yeah,
know,
you
a
got to
little
do
bit.
like.
But soccer, it's like mostly summer, warm.
Yeah.
This year I got promoted to the A team for college football.
Here we go.
Which is exciting.
That's exciting.
And we have Big Ten, so we're gonna
Yes.
have some cold games,
Oh,
which I'm
you're-
excited about.
It always makes me laugh when they throw to somebody who's outside the studio and they're like in the thing like this, and then
That'll
it's
be
like
me.
that'll be you.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You get some cool winter jackets, maybe.
I hope so. And they were so funny. They're like, it's gonna be really cold.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State. I'm like, I'm from Minnesota, guys. Like, if I can do
Dude,
this,
if you get
I've
to go
got
to
it.
that game, that's
I do.
That's
I have
so
it.
sweet. That's
It's
so
for sure. So
I remember
exciting.
they would give us cool jackets when I was on Fox Sports 1, and then they would always say, "Do you like the jacket?" I go, "Yeah, if we could just take the FS1 logo off it, it'd be fucking awesome jacket." That's how it works. You can't say anything. Okay, so what's your
know what
worst
you mean.
what's your worst birthday?
Worst birthday. So it goes back to BU.
Okay.
Freshman year,
Frosh year. Okay.
you have, no friends when you're
Yeah.
a freshman. It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So I'm at BU. I don't know anyone.
What led you to deciding on BU? Was it the
was-
hockey thing or?
Well, it was the journalism school for sure.
Okay.
I actually wanted to go to BC. I had talked to their coaches.
Shit.
But I I went there and I didn't like it.
Okay.
Like it was.
You did like a visit or something?
Yeah, it didn't. It felt very. I mean, it's a beautiful campus.
Sure.
But BU is in the city. I mean, you're in it. And
Yeah.
I loved walking around. I would take the T everywhere. I would go just to study at a little cafe and over by Fenway. Like, I loved the idea of exploring.
Yeah.
So BU just felt better, and then the journalism school. But so freshman year, in your dorm, you don't know anyone.
Yeah, it's an awkward time.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah, and you're far away from home.
No friends. I knew no one in Boston, and I guess that's half the reason I wanted to go. I thought that'd be fun. And we have a co-ed dorm, which is that's cool and different. I didn't really know what to expect. 2 girls as roommates who find out, I guess, through Facebook, which was like new at the time.
Wow, it was probably thefacebook.com then.
It was the Facebook. You had to have a college email.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
So they knew it was my birthday.
Okay.
So
Are these random assignments?
Yeah. I mean, Claflin Hall. I think we lived on 11th floor.
Okay.
I had 2 roommates. It was
Claflin
a
Hall.
room for 2 people, but we were 3, so it was tight quarters. And they decided to plan a surprise
That's
party.
nice.
It's nice.
Except you don't know these people.
I don't know anyone on the floor. So it's the first day of school, and I guess they had invited everyone on the floor.
Like from
and
11, like Claflin 11th
Claflin
floor.
11th
Yeah.
floor. It was 14th. It was Claflin though. I don't know if flyers were sent out, but
Oh my gosh.
everyone was invited, and we had to have like 40 people.
Yeah.
Like no one came.
Oh.
Like 5 people showed up. And I remember they were singing for me, and I was like, who are
these people that are at this party?
And they decorated the room, so the thought was really nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
I brought a picture.
Oh, yes.
I actually found this.
We'll post the picture on worstbirthday.com, you
It's,
guys, of Jenny Taft's worst birthday.
They got me a cake, and it's.
Oh my
and
gosh!
I don't even know her. I think.
And
I think
was
her
she your
name's
roommate or
Sarah.
no?
No, she was part of the attendees.
Hey, Aaron, what do you think about that? Can you get that?
It's kind of fun. But then if you scroll
Kind of getting it. Okay, so we'll post that on worstbirthday.com.
scroll one more over.
To
That's
the right?
I don't know.
By the way, never just scroll
I
through
don't.
a woman's
it's
phone.
left or right. Me
Whoops.
and a BU.
BU.
Yeah, so that's the dorm. That's the first day of school.
Oh, that is
tryouts.
great.
I was so nervous.
My favorite. My favorite thing about every dorm is there's always. By the way, you got to email those to me.
Okay.
Or text, whatever's
I will.
easiest.
I was just glad I found them.
I'm very glad you found them.
But it was just the fact that I didn't know anyone, and
Yeah.
it was a nice thought. But
Yeah.
it was awkward.
And so you felt like, I mean, it is really nice they tried to do that.
It was.
But who is that woman that's in the
I
picture?
think her name is Sarah.
Was she your roommate?
No, she was
just
one
a
of
random
the. She lived down the hall.
Yeah.
But she sang for me.
That's really nice. I mean, and what's too bad about that is if it was just 2 or 3 weeks later,
Yeah.
your birthday,
I would have been all in.
you would have been, you would have known you would have known, hey, and make sure you invite them, because it's like college, you meet and you become friends real fast.
Yeah.
But this was like day number 1.
It was like, come over and meet Jenny on her birthday. It ended up being, it was a very nice thing that they did for me.
Of course.
But I remember thinking like, I am so alone right now.
Yeah.
Like these are random strangers.
How long did it take you to feel more comfortable for freshman? Because I remember feeling very alone freshman year.
Yeah.
You can. And I had a team, thankfully, which really
You
helped.
still felt alone on a team though?
You just are fucking alone.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, when you leave your home and your parents, it just feels that way. So how long did it take you to feel okay?
The funny thing is I remember this so clearly, but I don't remember a lot from freshman year.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that? Like it was a blur.
Yeah,
Like it
it's
was just
fast.
what's going on. I guess having a team helped a lot.
Sure.
So I was on the lacrosse team, so I had a lot of friends that way. But you're still like figuring out yourself. I took the worst classes. I remember my grades were bad freshman year. Like it was kind of a blur. I'm like, let's just leave freshman year in the past. But I loved Boston, and that part was
it
a great fit.
I assume it was an underage drinking school.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can tell, like I wasn't crazy
Sure.
in college.
Sure. You can tell by that haircut that you weren't the craziest person
Yeah,
ever.
crazy. But you could go to bars and you just wouldn't drink.
You weren't allowed
But you
to
could
drink.
get into the bar.
Yeah.
And I mean, now you can't do that at all. So
Yeah.
I remember going out and it was never an issue in Boston, but now it's a lot stricter.
College binge drinking, I don't know what you're allowed to say and not allowed to say because you represent some universities week by week, but it just seems like it would be healthier to let younger people legally drink than what normally goes on, which is you sneak somewhere, shut the door, and like pound a fifth of vodka or fake ID it into a bar. I'll speak on behalf of my college.
Yeah.
There was so much secret drinking because the cops may show up, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, this is dumb. Every other first world country, if you're over 18 or even 15 or whatever, you're allowed to drink responsibly. It seems like we're more irresponsible.
I think because people drinking is this like, oh, it's it's illegal. But when you're in Europe, it's totally fine to have wine when you're growing up. I mean, I was an exchange student and like I had wine with dinner in middle school, and I didn't realize just a little bit.
In
like
France? Did you go to France? That's where you learned French.
Yeah. Well, the French school I grew up going to, and then I was an exchange student. But
okay, got it.
You have this weird thought that it's bad. And I think that's why alcohol and binge drinking is such a problem, because people go to school and it's like, well, why not?
I mean, you've covered these football games.
Yeah.
Are these kids, they're just fucking wasted, right? A lot of them?
Yeah. I mean, it's you see the fan section. My favorite game, I'll never forget, last year was at BYU.
Okay.
Like the nicest fans.
Yeah.
Everyone's sober. They're like, Jenny, like cheering for me. And I was like, it was just like the nicest fans. All the BYU kids.
Yeah.
They're great guys.
I remember watching them in basketball live versus San Diego State and watching the behavior of San Diego State fans versus it's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is wonderful.
It's amazing.
It makes you go like, oh, I wish all of our kids had those values. You must be heckled quite a bit sometimes when you're out there.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess college is probably nicer than, for example, I was at Azteca for U.S. Mexico, which was insane.
Yeah.
And I had a security guard.
Was that men's or women's? Forgive me.
It was men's.
That was men's.
No, it was World Cup qualifying. So big deal. They ended up tying, which was huge. I mean, they haven't won in Mexico I guess it was a friendly, but it wasn't a World Cup qualifying match. So a tie was huge to get a point there. And
this is the stadium that seats like over 100,000.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, they've done renovations, so I think the numbers are more like 85, 90,000.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But it was the loudest atmosphere I've ever experienced, and they told me people will throw things at you.
Right.
And it might not be beer, but it will be yellow. And it's probably a bag of pee. Yeah. It's like, actually, that's how bad it is.
What a
Nothing
roundabout way to say
way.
people will throw piss at you. Mm-hmm. It won't be beer, but it will be yellow.
Yeah.
But you didn't get hit with anything.
I didn't get hit. People were throwing things.
Yeah. And there's security around for you.
I had a guy, he was Emmanuel. He was amazing.
Nice
just
dude.
Keeping me safe.
I know he listens. Emmanuel listens, yeah.
But I was a little nervous because that was different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in sports, like, that atmosphere is once in a lifetime, and it was the coolest experience to be at Azteca and to feel the energy. And I mean, that's why I like sideline reporting, is because you get to experience it. So it was pretty cool.
So tell me this, because this is something that always fascinates me. What time was the game that day? Do you remember? Was it like a 1 o'clock game?
No, it was later, which was also a big deal because there was a compromise there. Normally Mexico can decide, like, we're gonna play at 1, hot, humid. The altitude there is really challenging.
To our advantage,
yeah,
right?
To their advantage. But there was some kind of they changed the date for Mexico, and so the United States was like, well, all right, let's play at night. So there was a little bit of a compromise. So that helped a lot. It was a lot cooler than it has been in the past there.
So take
7 maybe.
Okay, so take me through your day of the game. So if it's 7 o'clock game, like, what are you? Because you can always prepare more, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what do you do all day?
Yeah.
Tell me how that day works.
Well, I think every sport's a little different. If it's soccer, and in that situation, right, we had been there for the last 2 days. So we went to U.S. training the last 2 days. So that's when I talk to players. It's the days leading up. I'm not talking to players on a game day. That's just in any sport.
And you have access to the players?
I do.
Yeah.
I have access. And that's also relationships, being close with the press secretary. And, I have good relationships with the guys because I've now been around them for a while. So I think if needed, I would reach out to a press secretary, maybe get someone on the phone the night before. Like, the U.S. was going with a different keeper than expected. And that was something that I wanted to get a word from him.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly, talk to them and get an update. But morning of we have a meeting with everyone. So
like, what time? Like in 7 a.m.?
10 a.m.
Okay. At the hotel?
Everyone at the hotel. So that's our pre-show group, so that's everyone
in a
like
conference
Alexi
room or
Lawless.
something.
Yeah, in a conference room at the
Okay.
hotel. And,
Okay.
the Fox executives are there. I mean, that's
Sure.
a big meeting.
Yeah.
We go through
Don't
different
show up
storylines.
hungover to that one.
No.
No. Okay.
Not any of that. Come on, I have
Yeah.
to be on camera.
Yeah, not
That's
you.
the thing. Like, our crew will go out, and I'm like, you guys have fun, but like, I'm on
I
camera
know.
tomorrow, so this isn't going to end well.
And as you get older, Jenny,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm older than you, it's like you can't drink like 3 days before because your
No.
face shows it for like longer and longer. So it's just
It's
like,
like-
that's why I meet all these guys who are like 50 and I'm like, you don't drink. They're like, I stopped drinking like 10 years ago because you could see it forever.
can still see it.
Anyway,
And
so
the camera angle. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
I
I am
know.
not. I'm not. I'm a confident person. I don't
Sure.
really care, but like, it adds pounds.
sure.
Like, let's be honest.
And HD isn't helping nobody.
And like, a muscle on your arm isn't necessarily a muscle
right.
on that wide lens.
Right,
It just
right.
like expands. But I look through my notes. I've
Okay.
got like maybe I have 15 stories about different players that could be relevant. Maybe they have a history against Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so scored in, this last time they met up. Someone has a relationship with the coach. Anyway, any story that might be relevant. And I just kind of go through my notes. And then
Because something may happen where you're called on that story.
Yes.
Like, see, that is the last 4 years ago, he did same goal on that guy or whatever, right?
Exactly,
You can
like-
tell why I'm not a sideline reporter. He did same goal.
same goal.
Same goal.
Same goal.
Same goal.
But the thing about Sideline that I think no one realizes is I have all of these stories that you'll never hear,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't. That's part of the job. But people say, well, what does a sideline reporter do? And half the time, one, I'm listening to the coach and
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the bench. If I see an injury, I can get an update. So I'm normally right there.
You're listening to the coach how?
I'm close to the bench.
That's fucking cool.
Mexico, though, no, because they have control. So
Yeah.
like, you're not. You can sit behind the net. I mean,
Why? I would never want a reporter close to the bench.
But you see it always. And in college football, I know which coaches are okay with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I tread lightly on
Sure.
some coaches who I have a relationship with. Some teams will tell you an injury. Some are like, sorry.
Yeah.
So I can just tell you what I'm reporting. If someone's limping and he's clutching
Yeah.
his right ankle,
Right. Screaming, fuck, my ankle's
I
broken.
can say
Yeah.
I can say that without the F.
Right, you can't say that.
Not that part.
So-
but that's hard.
So, I think there's a misconception, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's some producer out there organizing that for you.
Yeah, no, it's all me.
It's usually you.
Yeah, I have a sideline producer for soccer,
Okay.
for mainly though for the international games to actually just coordinate
Yeah.
interviews with
Yeah.
their press because there's a lot of action. But he's not watch. I mean, if he sees something happen, he'll say, "Jen, like so and so's limping. You
Yeah,
should look
right,
at that."
right.
But I don't have someone for college football. The problem there, and a lot of people have one, you can't be on both sidelines at
Sure,
one time. So
sure.
you kind of have to judge the energy
Yeah.
of a side, and sometimes you get caught and you're like, whoa, I've been on USC sideline for way too long. I got to
Right.
go over here. That's hard.
Yeah,
but
it's harder in football because you got to walk all the way around
and
the
so
the
many
field.
people
Yeah.
and like you get spoiled when you cover soccer because you know that group of guys, and then football,
Right.
the roster.
Oh, so many. And it's literally like both
Coaches.
sides of the team. In soccer, it's just so I think that's really interesting that a lot of your access story interview comes down to how you manage finagle your relationships with those
Yes.
coaches. That's
Yeah.
very, very, that's a skill set.
It's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to USC practice today.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Coach Helton since last year.
Yeah.
I want to check in with their SID, and you have to take advantage of being in LA and having
Sure,
that access.
sure.
But USC is a great example. They totally get it. I
Yeah.
mean, they understand TV. They understand it's
yeah.
to their advantage to allow me to talk to their coach because he's going to, I mean, it's not rocket science. Whatever he tells me, that's the quote. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
making up
He's
anything.
aware of that,
It
yeah.
makes sense, right? So they understand that. And I think some schools are just really careful. Maybe they've had bad experiences in
Yeah.
the past with stories getting
Yeah.
out. But the difference between like college and NFL has to tell you injuries.
right.
College does. They don't have to tell you anything.
Right.
They don't.
Well,
they
but
don't care.
but they're in college too. It's all about recruiting, so they want to be in control of the story, and
Yeah.
and so they must also feed you wrong information.
I mean, I haven't had that happen.
Yeah.
A lot of times we think it's this, he's going to be evaluated further in the locker room. We'll
yeah.
let you know if there's an update, which, I've had situations where they've said, so-and-so, it's dehydration, and it looks like a knee. And you're like,
Right.
really?
Is it
dehydration?
yeah.
Like, it actually is. And then you
I would
report
lie
it.
my ass off to the reporters. I feel like it could be to your advantage.
Yeah, but then you suck.
But then
like,
you're bad. Yeah.
But then, I mean, like, that doesn't
I
go
do
well.
suck.
Like, you can't lie to them. I don't know.
I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so morning meeting, 10 a.m., Lexi Lawless, Fox executives,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Then what happens?
Then I normally go on a run.
Yeah.
Kind of like clear my head. Because
Sure.
a lot of times you are kind of wasting time. Those long days.
A lot of waiting.
I like the noon kick for football.
sure.
You're like, you're in, you're out.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
leave, take the all-nighter home.
Yeah.
And then I just really go as early as I can. I watch practice. I mean, you watch warm-ups. You
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of interviews. You know, I'll talk to a player off the bus. I'll talk to a coach off the bus.
On camera or no?
Yes, it should be in theory, but like for those international games, it's weird because
Yeah.
FIFA a lot of times is in
Yeah.
charge. So you might not see me, but that's all a FIFA rule. It's not
Right,
Fox.
right.
It's very weird.
Right. Interesting.
College football I'm on, or
Yeah.
I'll do a report pre-kick. So you're kind of just getting your stories ready. But a lot of times, and I've learned this, you might have all these ideas, and then something happens, and it changes in a second. So
But you need to be prepared.
just be prepared.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. I think I like studio, and it's a little more rehearsed, and studio,
Mm-hmm.
but I can never predict what's going to happen at a game, and I guess I like that.
That's got to be the most exciting.
Yeah.
Just getting caught up in the excitement in the moment.
Yeah. And you can't help it sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
When I think Colorado last year, they stormed the field. I mean, it was unbelievable. And I'm like trying to catch Sefo Lufau, who's the senior quarterback who's like had this crazy story, and
Yeah.
he's had a great year, and I can't find him, and they're like the fans are pulling you. But it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever.
It is always funny after a game, especially football, trying to watch you guys get to the coach or the quarterback. It's like, geez, I always feel like, isn't someone else going to be in charge of that?
No,
But
it's me.
It's you. So let's get back to the worst birthday for a second, because I think this is something that a lot of incoming freshmen, people that are new at anything, can feel like. It's like lonely. People are even trying to make it nice for you, but it still doesn't work. What did you take away from that worst birthday, if you took away anything?
I guess it was very thoughtful of
Yeah.
my roommates.
Yeah.
And it set up, I think the other thing is you get these roommate assignments and you start looking them up, like on Facebook, right? And you're immediately judging them. You're like,
course.
who are these people? I remember this one girl, Amanda, who I need to reach out to her because she was one of the two.
I know she listens to this
Yeah,
a lot.
she listens.
Yeah.
And, her picture was something that gave me a bad impression. I'm like, who is
Sure.
this girl? And she was unique. She slept during the day.
Yep.
She studied all night. I mean, we were so opposite, but she was the coolest,
Right.
best roommate.
Right.
And I totally judged that I wouldn't like her.
Sure.
She was great. So you can't do that. That's what I take away
That's a
from
great thing to take away from it. I think when I went to college, there wasn't Facebook, so you just kind of saw their name and you would judge them on their name, which you would do that too. Like
Michael Kosta.
Yeah, well, this guy, what a loser.
That's weird. You don't have anything to base it on.
I remember I was living with my college teammate Jamal Parker, but he had checked that he wanted to be like in a African American wing.
Oh.
So it was me and like 40 black dudes. Now, a lot of people who come from where I came from would go like, I don't want that, and I didn't want that. And then once I got to know everybody, it was great. But
Yeah.
that's what you figure out so much in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to like this. Oh my God, these are my friends. These are my friends now.
Yeah.
And it works out.
I loved college.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go back.
I'm going to go back. Let's go. Especially now, once you have like real responsibilities.
Yeah, like I get it now, like
Yeah, you
how I
get it.
could do that successfully.
Do you keep in touch with those roommates at all, or?
Well, now that I bring up her name,
Yeah.
I need to reach out to her
Sure.
because we did for a while, and she was like traveling the world. I mean,
Sure.
she was awesome. And
Sure.
my college lacrosse teammates, yes.
Yep.
It's hard. A lot of them live out east. So I'm so far. I mean, no one is this way.
When will lacrosse start to migrate out of the East?
Well, surprisingly, it has. And I went to a BU, played USC last year.
Okay.
And USC, which is a newer program. I
Yeah.
don't know how long they've had a team, but they killed BU. Like it was
Right.
tough. It was like,
Oh,
but
shit.
if you have USC, it makes sense. They can recruit girls from all over. So it
Sure.
was a lot of East Coast girls coming to USC, but it actually has shifted. West Colorado has a lot of good programs. Like Northwestern, when I played, was dominant, which was just a random kind of Midwest, but they had this great coach that brought the team there. And long story short, it's growing.
It is associated with wealth. Correct?
Lacrosse? Yeah, I think, and like, the Annapolis, Baltimore, these prep schools for sure.
Is that big. Because of the equipment? Is that just from the history of it?
I think the history, but I don't really know like why the prep school thing is big
either.
out. I mean, but out east, it's like you're born playing lacrosse in some of those communities. So I don't know.
Lacrosse,
I fit right in.
Yeah, lacrosse, ladies and gentlemen, is the national sport for Canada.
Yeah. I did a story about that.
You did?
BU Journalism School. I should send it also your way.
Send it to worstbirthday.com. Mm-hmm. Where can people find all of the information that is Jenny Taft?
I guess social media-wise, I try to post as much on Twitter, and that's Jenny Taft, and then Instagram is Jenny Taft as well.
Is Fox monitoring your tweets, and do they say like, hey, you can't really say that stuff? But you don't really blast controversial stuff out.
I don't know. I maybe I should get more involved. I feel like lately, it's hard. I am.
Tell me your opinion on that.
On everything.
Well, just
social media.
Is it your? Do you feel like you should be more opinionated in the public eye, or do you feel like your job is to keep it calm and let everyone else around you go crazy?
I think in the role I have as a sideline reporter. And I am reporting facts. I find my platform right now shouldn't be personal opinions as much as sports-specific stuff, because I don't want it. I think that gets a little confusing. Could I have a little of both? Maybe. I think Fox is pretty open about. They encourage their personalities to have opinions. I mean, look at Colin Cowherd, Skip Bayless. I mean, we've got these guys that are known for having these opinions. So I think in general that's okay, but they're on a different kind of a show than me as a sideline reporter. So I guess I try to, maybe I'm too careful, but I like to keep it professional.
I wasn't suggesting that, but just so you know, I was just curious because you have a platform.
Yeah.
But like you said, as any good team sport athlete is you need to understand what your role is. Skip's role, he was hired to probably have the headlines circle around him, and that isn't necessarily probably what you were hired to do.
Yeah.
Let's finish with a best birthday you've had, if you can think of one. I didn't ask you to prepare this, but is there anything that comes to mind? Was it when you were a kid, or a gift you got, or maybe when you're on the road working? Or maybe it's going to be the 30th coming up.
I hope it is.
September 5th.
Can we do something fun?
Yeah. Do you have anything planned?
No.
No?
Well, I have a friend who said, let's plan something, but I don't like putting pressure on. Yeah. Like, I don't want people to feel like they have to do something for me. Maybe we'll come to the Comedy Store.
Yeah, come to that's a great birthday.
That'd be fun.
It really is fun.
Okay, maybe that.
I will say this as someone that's listened to a lot of worst birthdays. If you want it to be great, you do need to plan.
Okay.
What happens is people want it to be great and they don't fucking plan anything. And that's disastrous. It's going to be great. It's 30. No, it's not. It's like New Year's Eve. It's a lot of build up, but it's never really that good.
That's why I don't like New Year's Eve either. It's like,
The Comedy Store is a great birthday
maybe
choice.
That's September 5th.
Yeah.
See you there.
Which is
Jenny's
what? Is that
birthday.
A Monday?
It's a day after Labor Day, so it's Tuesday? Is that a tough night? Is that work? Are you available?
I'm available. That's a good that's a great night at the Comedy Store, but in general, days after national holidays are not so good for comedy.
Okay, so could we go on Labor Day?
You can go whenever,
is that a big day?
Whenever you want to go. So no best birthday pops in mind.
I don't know.
Okay.
Last year, actually, we were on the road for soccer, and they threw me a big dinner. Unexpected. Nice. All of my Fox family, and that really meant a lot because I wasn't expecting anything, and we had this big steakhouse dinner, and everyone came. It was just like little things that goes a long way because when you basically live on an airplane
with these people,
I miss a lot of holidays. I mean, holidays, and maybe that's why. Like, you can't. I have worked on Christmas and Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving. I mean, holidays to me are kind of this odd thing where you just don't build them up a lot. So maybe that's what it is.
I think that's probably a result of the profession.
Yeah.
People always forget that when you're watching NBA basketball on Christmas Day, it's not like there's thousands of production crew that are also
I know.
not having dinner with their families, but it's just part of the deal with this
part of
job.
it. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, we've had some amazing, and Fox has done a great job. Like, they put on a big Thanksgiving meal
Sure,
for us because
sure.
I've worked Thanksgiving games or day before, and that goes a long way.
Yep.
And so I think people do sports. Yes, I work in sports. It's amazing. I
Yep.
love it. But I haven't had a weekend off in a long time. And that's just how it is. But you love it.
Yeah.
It's just you miss weddings. You miss events. I mean,
Weddings are out.
I can't tell
Weddings
you
are
how many
out, huh?
weddings I've missed. And
I
like,
know.
it sucks to say
Yeah.
I'm working because a lot of
Yeah.
times people don't get that you
They do
can't
not
get
get it.
off. And I hate it. I mean, I missed one of my teammates last year, her wedding,
sure.
and it killed me. But it's just like, I had a game.
You're also under contract
Yeah.
to go cover that game. It's not like you get to pick, hey, I know it's Purdue, Indiana, but I'm going to skip that one. As a struggling stand-up comic, you would get invited to these weddings and you would have a road date. And let's say you're making $1,000 on the road date, like nothing. Well, the wedding's going to cost you another $1,000 to $2,000 to go to, probably.
Easy.
So now it's like a $3,000 to $4,000 swing, and you try to explain that to the bride, and you're like, you're absolutely screwed. So you have a little more respect for people that work on the weekend, including Jenny Taft. Jenny Taft, thank you for sharing your worst birthday.
This was fun.
I'm sorry that happened to you, but I
it
think
wasn't that bad.
it wasn't that bad. But I think it was important for people to hear that story.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I wasn't funny, though.
You're not supposed to be funny. It's
I
just
know.
supposed to be real. Just real quickly, what are some big games you are covering this year so people can check you out?
Yeah, so college football's around the corner, and
Holy
that's
shit, man.
my whole fall. It's
Yep.
exciting to be. I'm going to be with Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson, and they've
Awesome.
been together for a couple years now. So just working with them is great. My first game, I've got a doubleheader the first weekend, and it's Washington at Rutgers.
Okay, fun.
That's the first Big Ten game on FS1 ever, because it's
Wow.
big that we got the Big Ten. And then
Dude,
Sunday,
that is massive. It's
yeah.
it's nice that Fox is starting to get some real sports.
Yeah,
I know
and
you
they're
can't say
putting a
that,
lot
but
into it.
well, yeah, when I was at Fox, we were covering like the Red Bull ice skating championships.
I
you know?
may have been on the sideline. What have I not covered?
Yeah, well, you've been there since the inception of the network, so that's fun. You're just getting
It
some
is
real
fun.
games now.
Yeah, and they're putting. I mean, Big Ten, of course, is huge for football, and then I've got A&M at UCLA
Wow.
on Sunday, and
Okay.
that's cool.
That's
It's
cool.
Sunday game.
Will that be on the
Fox.
okay, and then the Big Ten network is also a Fox property,
Yeah,
but you're not working for that, or you
no,
are?
it's. I mean, we have like 50% of the games
Yes.
between ESPN and Fox,
Got
and
it.
then there's some kind of. It's so complicated on who gets what games.
Yeah.
But there's a lottery system. It's
Yeah.
all very. But it all kind of depends on how teams perform, and
Sure.
then there's a priority on who wants what game.
Sadly, nobody wants my alma mater, the University of Illinois.
But maybe
This year, maybe. Maybe this year.
If
I like her
if
optimism.
I have a game, you're coming.
I'd love to do that. Thank you for sharing your worst birthday.
Thanks for having me.
All right,
This was
that's
fun.
Jenny Taft, everybody. See, that's easy, right?